Good noon and welcome back to fourth day of Atal sponsored 5 days faculty development program entitled as Stress Management, a Key for Personal and Professional Excellence. I welcome our second guest, guest of I welcome our guest of second session, Honorable Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am. She will be delivering a session on cause, effects, and treatment for stress. Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am has done her bachelor's in pharmacy in 2002 and post-graduation in pharmacology subject in 2004 from Pune University with first class. Ma'am has been awarded PhD in 2016 titled Investigation of Venoms of Indian Honeybee Species and Indian Red Scorpion for anti-arthritic activity from Pacific University. Ma'am has total 17 plus years of teaching experience. Currently, she is working as Associate Professor at Progressive Education Society's Modern College of Pharmacy, Nigadi, Pune, affiliated to Savitribai Phule, Pune University. She has been assigned various duties by Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am has guided 30 MPharm students. Her area of interest is designing, planning, execution, and interpretation of in vivo studies focused on identifying candidate molecules from plant and venomous animal origin for rheumatoid arthritis, anti-atherosclerotic, and antihypertensive treatment. She has total 20 publications, out of which 5 are national and 15 are international. Ma'am has book chapters to her credit titled Nasal Bioadhesive Drug Delivery System and Their Applications. Book name Bioadhesives in Drug Delivery, publisher John Ville and Sons. Second, cellulosic materials as bioinks for 3D printing application. Book name Advanced 3D Printed System and Nano System for Drug Delivery and Tissue Engineering. Publisher Elsewhere. Ma'am has received training, hands-on instrumentation and research training on animal cell culture and image analysis technique in Department of Pharmacy and Pharmacology, University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg. Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am has received research grants of rupees 3,90,000, a project sponsored by UGC. She has also received research grant of rupees 1,90,000 and rupees 2 lakh for a project sponsored by BCUD Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am is recipient of Vaidya D.S. Antarkar Memorial Best Research Paper Award 2015-16 by Medical Research Center, Kasturba Health Society, Mumbai, and also recipient of Divang Mehta Educational Award as a Best Pharmacology Professor in year 2018. With this short introduction, I request Dr. Sonali Nipte ma'am to deliver a talk on cause, effects, and treatment for stress. The session will start within 1 minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks, Nikita, for nice presentation. From last 3 days, we are studying about the stress and coping mechanism and tackling mechanism to various stress. As a pharmacologist, I will emphasize on causes, effect, and treatment for the stress. So in today's session, we will more discuss about the causes, effects, and relative treatment for coping the stress. Okay. As I told you, from last 3 days, you are just dealing with stress, stress, and stress. The stress is the word which is known to everyone. Every adult is known to this word. This stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension, and it can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. So any destructing thoughts, any vulnerable thoughts which give you frustration, you become angry or nervous, that causes the stress. And this stress is nothing but it's your normal body reaction to a challenge or a demand. So starting first with type of stress. So the type of a stress are depending upon its nature, duration, and its impact on the body. Basically, the stress can be categorized into different category. There is a good and bad stress. So good stress is known as eustress and bad stress is known as a distress. So eustress means the stress which give you happiness is termed as a eustress. Like you're planning a birthday party of your child and you have to make all the arrangement. Yeah, stress is there, but that stress gives you the happiness. While distress will give you frustration, or sometimes because of distress, you become angry. In a funny way, like uninvited guest comes to your home, then you feel distress. अगर मायके वाले आ रहे हैं तो you feel eustress, और ससुराल वाले आ रहे हैं तो distress. So that's the difference between good and bad stress. Joke apart, this distress again categorized as acute stress, episodic stress, and chronic stress. Acute stress, it comes on quickly and also goes quickly. And when this acute stress comes too frequently or felt too frequently, it becomes episodic stress. So acute stress is for a few minutes, okay, and it will go quickly. But problem is there when this acute stress coming frequently and it becoming episodic, and these episodes are more and more, then stress become persistent and for longer duration, and it is called as chronic stress. And on body, harmful effect only caused by chronic stress. Acute stress and episodic stress we can manage in day-to-day life, but it is difficult to manage the chronic stress as it's going to cause harmful effect on a body. So major chronic stress problems are mainly reason behind this is going to be family and marriage difficulties. Definitely in every family, some problems are there, or your marriage is suffering from some difficult time period. So you can suffer from a chronic stresses. Financial problems, yes, it is means everyone suffer for some time period from the financial problem, but you can cover it, okay? Job stress, every working person in his job time suffer from the chronic stress. But my strategy to cope up with this job stress, the quote I have mentioned over here, the best way to appreciate your job is to imagine yourself without one, and it instantly relieves your job stress. The chronic stress coming from physical or mental illnesses. A patient remain ill, physically ill for longer time period, and that causes, and that is going to be a source of development of a chronic stress, or suffering from some of the mental illnesses, which in turn convert into the chronic stress. Then shift work or nighttime work hours. This type of a chronic stress develop in IT people, as there is a shift of work is there and nighttime work is more in those people. In student, there is a study stress, and when this study stress especially combined with the work, if a student is working and if it is combined with a family obligation, then there is a development of a chronic stress. People who are abusing substances, including tobacco and alcohol, are more prone to develop the chronic stress. See, in this era where both the partners are working, so in such a case, care of aging parents became difficult and it's becoming challenging. And with that, not only the caring of aging parents, but it often combined with raising one's own children at some time give the stress. But yes, we are coping with that stress, and it is not going to be a much of the problem. And last reason to develop the chronic stress is the loneliness. So if a person is lonely, he is not having a company to talk or to enjoy or to go for dinner or trips, then it will develop the chronic stress. Okay. We will discuss about the stress response system. See, whenever stress is there, our brain is involved, and in that, hypothalamus plays an important role. Hypothalamus is controlling the pituitary gland, and this pituitary gland controls the hormonal system. Okay, so there are three levels is there whenever there is a stress. First is alarm, second is adaptation, and third is exhaustion or recovery from the stress. So whenever stress situation is there, hypothalamus get activated and it performs the specific function. What function it is going to carry out? First, it will activate autonomic nervous system, which is a part of a peripheral nervous system, and it will generate fight and flight response. We will see afterward what is fight and flight response. Second, this stress stimulates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis by releasing the hormone corticotropic releasing hormone. So it is released by the hypothalamus, and this act on a pituitary gland, and after acting on a pituitary gland is going to secrete adrenocorticotropic hormone. This adrenocorticotropic hormone goes to the bloodstream and then go to the adrenal gland, and in adrenal gland it causes the synthesis and release of the adrenaline. So whenever there is a stress, there is a adrenal rush, okay, because adrenal gland is going to secrete adrenaline into the blood. And third function it is going to perform, that it's going to secrete antidiuretic hormone. Okay, sorry for the disturbances. Some technical error is there. Okay. As I told you, when hypothalamus get activated, it activates the autonomic nervous system, and this when autonomic nervous system get activated, it causes the release of the adrenaline, and this adrenaline will perform fight and flight response. So whenever I just taught to student about fight and flight response, I just give them the simple example, like they are wandering on a road and some frightening creature come in front of them. So immediately our brain get activated and there is a beginning of fight or flight response. Brain will analyze whether the person is able to fight with that creature. If yes, then the fight response will get activated. If not, then running away is the best response, and in that case flight response get started. And it is a kind of a stress, no? So in that stress there will be increase in a heart rate and blood pressure. In that also, it will releases the hormone cortisol, which is known as an stress hormone. So whenever this cortisol is released, there is a suppression of a immune system, and this stress which is induced causes the disturbance of our digestive system. So overall effect of this stress is increase the risk of various diseases. So we will see in detail what are the symptoms related to stress. There are physical symptoms, there are emotional symptoms, and there is a behavioral symptoms. Okay, starting with first physical symptoms. The physical symptoms of a stress include aches, that means body aches and pain, chest pain, or a feeling like your heart is racing. There is an excessive exhaustion or trouble sleeping, development of a headache, dizziness, or shaking of the body. High blood pressure is there, and all these effects are due to release of the adrenaline. There is an increase in muscle tension or jaw clenching. There is development of a digestive problem and development of a weak immune system. So all these are the physical symptoms of a stress. Emotional symptoms of a stress contain anxiety or irritability. So person become very irritable on small things. So irritation level is going to get on increase. Okay. Not only anxiety, but person who is suffering from a chronic stress also feels the episode of the depression, panic attacks, and sometimes person is going to feel excessive sadness. So all these are the emotional symptoms related to stress. As our mind is not going to be stable, it is thinking the weird thing, and that's why anxiety, depression, panic attack, and sadness is there. In chronic stress condition, some unhealthy behavior symptoms are seen. If a person is too stressed, is tend to drink alcohol too much or too often. Then in some people, there is a overeating habit develop the eating disorder. So person is going to eat mindlessly, okay, whether he or she is hungry or not, but still eating the things. So that is the eating disorder can be developed in a behavioral symptoms of a stress. Some people start gambling because that gives them a stress buster. Then some people do the shopping or internet browsing. That is also, they feel that it is going to be a stress busting mechanism. Then smoking, using of the drugs, abusive drugs, addictive drugs. So that can be happen, and that is the unhealthy behavioral symptoms in the stress. But the smoking and drugs will give the only temporary relief. It is not going to cope up with the stress. Okay. Effect on a digestive system. So short-term stress will cause the loss of appetite and slow down the digestion, while long-term stress causes either constipation or diarrhea. It leads to indigestion or upset stomach. Chronic stress, which is for longer time period, will develop irritable bowel syndrome and other GI disorders. Effect on circulatory problems. Definitely the blood pressure is going to get altered due to the stress because of the stress hormone adrenaline or epinephrine secreted by the adrenergic nerve terminal. There is a increase in a heart rate, high blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythms, body's oxygen demand get increased, and that's why heart is going to contract very fast. It can lead to chest pain or difficulty in breathing. In chronic stress, as I told you, due to release of the hormone cortisol, there is a suppression of immune system. So body's ability to fight off antigen is going to get reduced, and body is become more susceptible to the infection. As I told you, the stress hormone cortisol can suppress the effectiveness of the immune system. For example, it can lower the number of lymphocytes. Some other effect of this stress hormone cortisol is it alters the bone mineral density. It is rare, but in some cases, stress could also be cause of a cancer. Specifically in female, breast cancer development is observed. And it also interferes with the reproductive system, both in men as well as in women. So we will move towards how to cope up with the stress. Okay, I will just share with you some tips to relieve the stress. First, check on your diet. Okay, when chronic stress occurs, as I told you, that eating habit is more, okay, bad eating habit. So person is going to eat mindlessly, and in that there is a craving for sugar, sweet food. So quote is like that: whenever you are stressed, eat chocolate, sweet, etc. Because when stress is spelled backward, it became desert. But that is not a true situation. In chronic stress, reduce the caffeine and sugar because it gives temporary highs, and it end up with a crash in the mood and energy. Temporary high is there, but immediately it end with a crash in the mood and energy. See, avoid alcohol, smoking, and drugs. Self-medicating with alcohol or drugs may provide an easy escape from the stress, but the relief is only temporary. So permanent relief is not going to get, and it affects your other body system, leading to various type of diseases. So this bad habit you have to avoid. Then next, stay away from the processed food and try not to eat mindlessly. See, processed food are generate the taste, means they are tasty, but they are not going to give any nutritional value. Okay, and that's why you have to just stay away from the processed food. So what should you eat? Be sure that your diet must contain vitamin C, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acid. Try to take complex carbohydrates and lean proteins. Then fatty acid, essential fatty acid found in a fish, meat, eggs, and nuts. They are very good for the body. Body needs antioxidants. So antioxidant foods like beans, fruit, berries, vegetables, that has to be taken. Spices such as ginger, they are also good for the health. So togetherly, all this healthy food build up your immune system, level your mood, and lower your blood pressure. There is a strong connection in between stress and sleep. Whenever a person is stressed out, the person could not able to sleep peacefully. A common side effect of a stress is that you may struggle to fall asleep. Okay. And if this happens 3 times a week for at least 3 months, you may develop insomnia, that is an inability to fall and stay asleep. See, this is the indication. If you could not able to sleep for 3 times a week, at least for 3 months, definitely it will lead to the insomnia. And once insomnia develops, this stress situation get worsened. So to avoid this, we can develop better sleep habits, and it includes do the exercise regularly. Any type of exercise will have a good effect, positive effect on the body. Get out in sunlight. Most important thing, it refreshing your mood when you get out in a sunlight. Next, fix your sleep schedule. That means at this time I'm going to go to sleep, and at this time I'm going to wake up. So if there is a strict sleep schedule, then body become habituated to that, and your sleep problem is getting reduced. Drink less alcohol and caffeine close to the bedtime. So it will not give you the high, and it will not disturb your sleep. Next point is very important. To have a good sleep, don't look at your electronic devices for 30 to 60 minutes before the bed. Okay, don't touch your mobile phone, don't do the surfing, don't do the chatting, and it will improve your sleep. And when you go to bed, try some sort of meditation or other form of a relaxation at bedtime, so it will improve the quality of a sleep. So as I told you, doing exercise will improve the mood. So the stress busting magic of mindful rhythmic exercise. Okay, a successful exercise program begins with a few simple steps. But before beginning of any kind of exercise, consult with your doctor if you have any health concern. Okay, खुद के मन से decision नहीं लेना है कि from tomorrow I will do this exercise. Okay, if you are suffering from some health problems, first consult your doctor and then begin with your exercise program. While beginning, keep in mind, walk before you run. That means you are not doing any kind of exercise and suddenly you decide that from tomorrow I will do the vigorous exercise. So that will not happen. It will give you body ache. Then some kind of strains are going to be there. So before you run, you walk, and that will build up your fitness level gradually. Some simple type of exercise will do, like running, swimming, dancing, cycling, and aerobics. So start with walk, then run, do any kind of exercise like swim, dance, cycle, or aerobics. That will help to relieve the stress. So if you don't have time to do the exercise, keep your body in a motion condition. These are the small tips that you can keep motion of your body. First is bike instead of driving to the store. Here bike is not motorbike, it is a bicycle. Okay, so make use of a bicycle to go to the store. Use the stair instead of the elevator. Then park as far as you can from the door. This is the problem with us people, that whenever we go out, we try to park our vehicle to the nearest place. Okay, and that will means that will produce a chaos. So try to park as far as you can, so that from that distance you can walk to the door. Then simple techniques like hand wash your car, cleaning the house is the best exercise. Okay, make time of 10 to 15 minutes every day to clean your house. Next technique is walk on your lunch break. Okay, you have finished with the lunch, then 10 minutes are remain, just take a small walk on a lunch break. Exercise like put on some music and dance around. Whether you could dance or not, that's not going to be a question. Put some music and dance around. It is going to be a best exercise. Or take your dog for the walk. If you don't have a dog, just go alone for the walk. These are the simple techniques to exercise your body. Okay. Do almost any form of exercise or movement that can increase your fitness level while decreasing your stress. So while doing this, pencil it in that in your schedule, you may need to do a morning workout on one day and an evening activity on the next day. So keep in mind, you have to move your body. And when you exercise, it pumps up your endorphin and it gives the happiness. Okay, it reduces the negative effect of a stress, and it is the meditation in a motion. And as it is a meditation in a motion, it improves your mood. Okay, do a little bit of a yoga and meditation. So you can do small step of a yogas, the one that focus on a slow movements like stretching and deep breathing. These are the best for lowering your anxiety as well as the stress. Okay. Meditation is the best way to relieve the stress. It can lower your stress, anxiety, and chronic pain associated with stress. It improves sleep, energy level, and elevate your mood. And we have seen many of the meditation techniques in an earlier speaker spoke about all the meditation techniques. To meditate, you will need to find a quiet place, get yourself comfortable, either sitting or lying down. Focus your attention on a one word or a phrase or on an object or even your breath. Okay, and let your thought comes and goes. It is not like that. If you're keep quiet position, your thought is going to come, but let your thought come and go and do not judge them. Okay, try to ignore those thoughts, not to judge them. And if you could able to do that, the meditation will be successful. Yes, a deep breathing exercise to clear the mind and release the stress. Only deep breathing can relieve the stress. Okay, when you practice deep breathing, you turn on your body's natural ability to relax. Okay, see, we can body is having biofeedback mechanism, means whenever there is a stress, your heart rate increases, muscle tension increases. So learn to manage your biofeedback mechanism. Learn to manage your heart rate, muscle tension, and blood pressure when stress hit. Okay, decide that I'm not going to stress out on these things. Okay, ultimately heart rate will not increase, muscle tension will not generate, and ultimately it lowers down the blood pressure. Okay, this is the important technique and the best technique to relieve the stress. Connect with people. Okay, reach out to the people. Spend a time with a friend or family member who will listen to you. And this is the biggest stress buster solution. Okay, face-to-face interaction triggers a cascade of hormones that counteracts the body's defensive fight or flight response. When we are talking to a person face to face, we are pouring all our emotions. Okay, and it gives us support that someone is listening to us. Okay, and it is a nature's natural stress reliever, and it helps to stave off the depression as well as anxiety. Not only stress, but it also staves off the depression and anxiety. So make it a point to connect regularly and in person, not on a virtual platform like Facebook and WhatsApp, in person with family or friends. And that will be your biggest stress buster for you. So how to connect the people, how to reach the people? Okay, so reach out to a colleague at work. Talk to your colleague, build a good relation, healthy relation with your working colleague, and that will cause the relieve the stress. Okay, then second, help someone else by volunteering, whether a person asks you or not for the help, but just do small help to other person. Then have a lunch or coffee with a friend, chat on any of the matter related to society, to yourself, chat on anything. Okay, then ask your loved one to check in with you regularly. So make one phone call or meet outside. So it's going to be a stress relieving things. Okay, then accompany your friend or family member to a movie or a concert. It will definitely change your mood. Sometime give a call or do the email to an old friend. So that friend is also going to feel good, and you also going to have a feel good factor. Okay, go for a walk with a work buddy, or you can schedule a weekly dinner date. So It is not about the food. It is about change of the environment. Okay. If there is a change in the environment, you feel good. Okay. Meet new people by taking a classes or joining the club. Okay. At workplace, we are meeting the same people over again and again. So change your atmosphere. Okay. Join some hobby classes. You over there, you can meet the new people. You can get means you can get a freshen up of your idea or environment. So these are some of the technique to connect with the people. Okay, love means you just do what you love. Okay, so the greatest weapon against the stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. And for that, make time for fun and relaxation. Beyond take charge approach and a positive attitude, you can reduce stress in your life by carving out me time. Everyone should have that me time, and don't encroach that time. Do whatever you want to do in that me time. Then you have to set aside the leisure time. You're working rigorously and not relaxing. That also builds up the stress. Okay. So include rest and relaxation in your daily schedule. And now you have set up the leisure time. Don't allow other obligation to encroach. Don't think that I will use this time to do another work. Don't do that. Okay. If that time is for your rest and relaxation, use that time for the same purpose. Okay. Do something you enjoy every day. Like make time for leisure activity that brings you the joy. Spending time on your favorite hobby can improve your mental health as well as the well-being. So any kind of a hobby, listening to music, going on a walk, dancing, develop any kind of a habit so that hobby, so that you can enjoy every day. And last, keep your sense of humor. Okay, laughing is the best medicine for the stress, and this includes the ability to laugh at yourself, not only to the others, but it includes the ability to laugh to yourself. Okay. Time management. Definitely, when we are working, there is some task and goal. Okay, so manage the time. When you are stretched too thin and running behind the schedule, at that situation, it is hard to stay calm and focus. In such a situation, you have to manage the time so that that thin line is not going to develop. Then don't overcommit yourself. Avoid scheduling things back to back or trying to fit too much into one day. That has to be avoided. So again, you have to commit yourself for one thing, just complete that thing and then move to the next thing. Okay. Prioritize your task. Make a list of tasks you have to do and tackle them in order of importance. Yeah, everyone is having a burden of various work, but you have to prioritize the task and you have to do it one by one according to the priority. Then break project into the small steps. If a large project seems to be very overwhelming, then make a step-by-step plan and each time clear up one step so that big project not going to be a burden. Okay. And delegates the responsibility. That is very important thing. Many of the people is having a habit of that. I will do everything by myself. You don't have to do it all yourself. If possible, whether at home, at school, or on a job, delegates the responsibility. And it is a very related to the working people, that you have to delegate some of the responsibility, so the burden on you will become less and you will less stress out. So I will tell you one inspirational story on a stress management. While seeing a glass, you might guess what story I am going to tell you. A professor was explaining the lesson on stress management to the student. He raised a glass of water and everyone in a classroom expected to be asked about half empty or full question. To their surprise, the professor asked, "How heavy is this glass of water?" The answer from the student varied from 100 to 500 grams. Then the professor explained, the absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. What really matters is how long you try to hold it. Then he continued, if I hold it for a minute, it is not a problem. If I hold it for an hour, I will have an ache in my arm. And if I hold it for a day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Then he explained, in each case, the weight of the glass remains the same, but the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes. He continues, the same thing applies to the stress and worries in your life. If you are stressed and worried for a short time, it will have little impact. But if we carry the burden of stress and worry all the time, it begins to hurt. And eventually, we won't be able to carry on. So whenever everyone faces the stress and worry, so just feel it for a short time and let it go. Otherwise, it will become burden on you. As like with a glass of water, you have to put it down for a while and rest before holding it again. It's important to let go of your stresses and worries from time to time and don't carry them all the time. Remember to put the glass down. Remember to let it go and relax from time to time. Life is very short. Enjoy it and live each of the moment. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So the moral of the story is going to be, it's not the load that breaks you down. It is the way you carry it. And if you carry this burden and stress for a longer time period, it will lead to further disease that is known as chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay. Chronic fatigue syndrome might be term is familiar to you, but I will just explain to you what you mean by chronic fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome is the illness characterized by unexplained, profound, debilitating fatigue lasting for 6 months, and it is not improved by bed rest and may be worsened by physical and mental activity. So it is like your body is under the stress condition more than 6 months, and if you try to do any physical or mental activity, the symptoms of the disease is going to get worsened. So that syndrome is known as an chronic fatigue syndrome. Fatigue is defined as feeling of extreme physical or mental tiredness resulting from severe stress and hard physical or mental work. Chronic fatigue syndrome, that is CFS, revealed prevalence rate ranging from 0.2% to 2.6% worldwide. CFS have a sign of major depressive illness, and 1/2 of the patient suffering from a CFS have experienced at least one major episode of a depression. Okay. What CFS is going to do? It's going to cause reduction in daily activity greater than 15% for at least 6 months is the major criteria for the diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome. Due to its multifactorial nature, the leading pathogenic factor behind CFS remain unclear so far. Researchers have found out that CFS may occur as a result of biochemical and immunological disturbances. Some studies also establish the involvement of reactive oxygen species. This reactive oxygen species, ROS, which are responsible for disruption of a hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis in CFS patient, and it turns to liable for biochemical and immunological disturbances. Elevation of reactive oxygen species leads to increase in lipid peroxidation, nitrite level, and it diminishes the antioxidant enzyme in chronic fatigue syndrome. So CFS can be developed in a people who are overlapping disorders such as depression and fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is the disease in which there is an excessive body pain is there, and people with a prolonged fatigue for at least 1 month, they are prone to develop the chronic fatigue syndrome. Causes of chronic fatigue syndrome. Some people may be born with a predisposition for the disorder, which is then triggered by the combination of various factors. But the potential triggers for chronic fatigue syndrome involve viral as well as the bacterial infection. Some people develop chronic fatigue syndrome after having a viral infection, but no conclusive link has yet been found. Immune system problems. The immune system of a people who have chronic fatigue syndrome appears to be impaired slightly, but it is unclear if this impairment is enough to actually cause the disorder. Hormonal imbalance. People who have chronic fatigue syndrome also sometimes experience abnormal blood levels of hormones produced in the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, or adrenal gland. But the significance of these abnormalities is still unknown. Some physical or emotional trauma. Some people have reported that they experience an injury, major injury, surgery, or significant emotional stress shortly before their symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome begins. We will see what are the risk factors which prones to develop the chronic fatigue syndrome. This is most commonly seen among the people in their 40s or in 50s. Women are 2 to 4 times trusted source more likely to be diagnosed with a chronic fatigue syndrome than men. See, usually women are multitasking and they are always under a stress of a work. So, and that chronic stress situation can lead to chronic fatigue syndrome. Any diagnosis, particular diagnosis is not there. Only there is a feeling of a fatigueness, or there is a body ache is there. So always the women who are there in their 40s and 50s complaining about not feeling well. Okay, I'm not feeling well. That is the complaint of the woman. But we fail to identify that they might suffering from the chronic fatigue syndrome, because when we go to the doctor, they will give the means they will take out the blood, do the blood test, they will do some other test. But if they could not able to diagnose the chronic fatigue syndrome, the sign and symptoms remain with the patient. Okay. The other factors include genetic predisposition, some kind of allergies, continuous stress, and various environmental factors plays important role in development of a chronic fatigue syndrome. As I told you, some of the virus and bacteria can cause chronic fatigue syndrome. So viruses like Epstein-Barr virus, human herpes virus, Rose river virus, and rubella virus, and bacteria such as Coxiella burnetii and Mycoplasma pneumoniae can develop the chronic fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome can also arise due to multiple nutritional deficiency. So some nutrient deficiencies like vitamin C, vitamin B complex, decreased level of sodium, magnesium, zinc, folic acid, L-carnitine, L-tryptophan, and essential fatty acid deficiency can lead to chronic fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome can be developed due to decreased amount of coenzyme Q10. It is a vitamin-like substance found in a meat and seafood, and in body it is majorly present in heart, liver, kidney, and pancreas. We will move towards the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome. Symptoms are very varied. Okay, so based upon the individual and the severity of a condition, the most common symptom is severe enough to interfere with your daily activities. CFS significantly reduce ability to perform your usual daily activities. It must not be curable with a bed rest. Okay, That means sometimes people feels the fatigue and we say, oh, I'm tired. I just sleep for some time and I will feel refreshed. But this not happen in case of a chronic fatigue syndrome. There is a extreme fatigue after physical or mental activities, and that is known as an post-exertional malaise. And it can last for more than 24 hours after the any physical or mental activity. CFS can also introduce sleep problems such as feeling unrefreshed after a night sleep. You have taken a good sleep for the night, but still you feel unrefreshed, and it can develop the chronic insomnia. In addition to this post-exertional malaise and sleep disturbances, people also experience loss of memory function, reduced concentration, and can develop the orthostatic intolerance. What is this orthostatic intolerance? We will see later. Okay, they develop physical symptoms such as muscle pain, frequent headaches, multi-joint pain, but this multi-joint pain is without redness or swelling. There is a frequent sore throat, and people tend to take antibiotic because they don't know whether infection is there or not. But due to CFS, there is a frequent sore throat is there. It tends to develop a tender and swollen lymph nodes in a neck and armpit areas. CFS affects some people in cycle with a periods of feeling worse and then better. So sometimes these symptoms are very worse and sometimes they are in a better condition. So remission and relapse of a CFS may occur. This cycle of remission and relapse can make it difficult to manage the symptom of the patient suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome, but it is not impossible to treat. Okay, we can cure the chronic fatigue syndrome with some medication. The complications involved are lifestyle restriction. See, if you continuously going to feel the fatigue, there is a lack of enthusiasm and initiative, then person leads to lifestyle restriction. Some people increase the work absences. There is a social isolation, and if it remains for continued time period, it will lead to the chronic depression. Now, the diagnosis criteria for chronic fatigue syndrome. As I told you, most of the symptoms are very common. So how we are going to diagnose whether it is chronic fatigue syndrome or any normal ailment? Okay, there is no medical test to screen chronic fatigue syndrome. Its symptoms are similar to many other conditions. Many people with chronic fatigue syndrome don't look sick. So how you are going to screen or diagnose whether the person is suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome or not? So the doctor also may not recognize that they indeed have a health condition. In order to receive a chronic fatigue syndrome diagnosis, your doctor will rule out other potential causes and review your medical history with you. So they will ask you your medical history, whether you are suffering from some other illnesses or not, and then he will receive a diagnosis of CFS. The doctor will confirm that you at least have the core symptoms previously mentioned, like your post-exertional malaise, there is a headache, there is a joint swelling. They will also ask about the duration and severity of your unexplained fatigue. So after that, ruling out the other potential causes of your fatigue, the key part of the diagnosis process will remain. And then they will come to know whether the person is suffering from the chronic fatigue syndrome or not. There are some conditions which having the same symptoms that resemble to the chronic fatigue syndrome. Such conditions are mononucleosis, Lyme disease, multiple sclerosis, lupus, hypothyroidism, fibromyalgia, major depressive disorder, severe obesity, sleep disorder, and the side effect of certain drugs like antihistaminics and alcohols. Moving towards the treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome, there is currently no specific cure for chronic fatigue syndrome. Each person will definitely have different symptoms. Therefore, different types of treatment are there. Medication, but typically no one medication can treat all of your symptom. Also, your symptom may change over time, so your medication may have to as well, means you have to change the medication as your symptom changes. In many cases, CFS can trigger or be a symptom of a depression. In that case, you may need a low dose antidepressant therapy. If a lifestyle changes don't give you a restful night's sleep, your doctor may suggest you a sleep aid. Then pain reducing medication can also help you to cope up with the aches and joint pain caused by CFS. And if medication therapy is needed, it will have to be tailored for the person to person. There are some home remedies and lifestyle changes to cope up with a chronic fatigue syndrome. Making some lifestyle changes may help reduce your symptoms. Limiting or eliminating your caffeine intake can help. That we will see in detail, and that will cause the sleep better and ease your insomnia. You should limit or avoid nicotine or alcohol too. Try to avoid napping during the day if it's hurting your ability to sleep at night. As I told you, in a chronic stress also, create your sleep routine. Go to the bed at the same time every night and aim to wake up around the same time every day. Typical symptoms of a chronic fatigue syndrome, like post-exertional malaise symptom, how we are going to deal with that. It occurs when even minor physical or mental or emotional exertion result in chronic fatigue symptoms, and it becomes worse. Worsening symptoms usually occur 12 to 48 hours after the activity and last for days or even weeks. Activity management, also called as pacing, can help balance rest and activity to avoid post-exertional malaise flare-up. Okay, so it is not like that you don't have to do the exercise or exertion. So balancing in a rest and activity has to be maintained. Find your individual limits for a mental and physical activity and plan these activity and then rest to stay within these limits. So find out your limits. Okay, find out your individual limit, how much physical activity you can do, how much stress you can take, emotional stress you can bear, and according to that set the limit. Keep a diary of your activities, and it may help you to find your personal limit. Avoid vigorous exercise such as aerobics. CFS don't tolerate such exercise routine which are heavy in nature. Again, whether it is a chronic stress or chronic fatigue syndrome, sleep is the parameter. Patients with chronic fatigue syndrome often feel less refreshing and restored after sleep than they did before they become ill. Common sleep complaints include difficulty falling or staying asleep. Sometimes there is an extreme sleepiness. While sleeping, there is an intense and vivid dreamings. There is a restless legs and nighttime muscle spasm. It is recommended taking medicine to help with the sleep. Doctor can offer a prescription sleep medicine starting at the smallest dose and using for the shortest possible time. People might continue to feel unrefreshing even after the medication. In that case, you have to consider seeing a sleep specialist. Sleep disorders like sleep apnea and narcolepsy respond to this therapy suggested by the sleep specialist. However, the people with CFS, may not all the symptom will go away, but it will help. One of the major symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome is pain or aches. Okay, people with CFS often have a deep pain in their muscle and joints. They might also have headache. So soreness of their skin when someone touch it. Doctor may first recommend trying over-the-counter pain relievers like acetaminophen, aspirin, or ibuprofen. People with a chronic pain, including those of CFS, can benefit from counseling to learn new ways to deal with the pain. Other pain management methods include stretching and movement therapies, gentle massage, heat, toning exercise, and water therapy for healing. In some patients, acupuncture plays important role and it relieves the pain of the patient, but it has to be done by the licensed practitioner. One of the symptoms of the CFS is depression, stress, and anxiety. So adjusting to a chronic debilitating illness sometimes leads to other problems, including depression, stress, and anxiety. Many patients with CFS develops depression during their illness. And if the depression is present, depression and anxiety is present, it has to treat. Okay, so it can be treated with an antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication. Some other techniques to relieve the stress, anxiety, like deep breathing, muscle relaxation, massage, and movement therapies such as stretching, yoga, and Tai Chi can be given. These can reduce the stress and anxiety and promote the sense of well-being in a patient. One of the symptoms of CFS is orthostatic intolerance, that is dizziness and lightheadedness when the patient immediately sit or immediately stand up. There is a dizziness and lightheadedness occur in a person, and that is known as an orthostatic intolerance. It is triggered or when or made worse by standing or sitting upright. These symptoms can include frequent dizziness and lightheadedness, change in a vision, feeling like your heart is beating too fast or too hard, it is fluttering or skipping a bit. In such a cases, it is recommended to see a specialist like cardiologist or neurologist. For a people with CFS who do not have heart or blood vessel diseases, doctor might suggest patient to increase the daily fluid and salt intake and use support stocking. So it will support your legs. If symptoms do not improve, prescription medication can be considered. Memory and concentration problems which occur in CFS. So we can use some memory aids like organizer and calendars. Some doctors have prescribed stimulant medication like those typically used in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, for example, methylphenidate, while stimulant drug might help in improve the concentration for some patient with CFS. They might lead to push and crash cycle and worsen the symptoms. That means when you take the stimulant, you feel better. And when you feel better, you try to push it further. And when you push it further, it crashes down. So push and crash cycle can be developed with a stimulant drug, and we have to avoid that. See, these are the symptoms, and we have seen how to reduce that symptom. But there are some diet hacks to reduce the chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue syndrome can potentially be impacted by the diet, but we know very little about what could specifically work for everyone. We know that for some, certain food item make their symptom worse, or for some, the same food item, they ease the symptoms. So we have to categorize it. So first technique, ditch inflammatory food. Highly processed food, we have to avoid it. Okay. Since inflammation appears to play a role in chronic fatigue by developing pain and inflammation, it is recommended trying an anti-inflammatory diet or adding anti-inflammatory foods like fish and olive oil in a regular diet. Stay hydrated. Okay, while drinking more water isn't a cure for chronic fatigue, but it is still important. Dehydration is known to make fatigue worse. Staying hydrated, it is important for improving and maintaining the health. Keep a food and symptom journal. Okay, sometimes you eat something and your symptom get worse, so note it down that after consuming such a kind of a food, the symptom get worse. Okay, or if you feel good after taking some of the foods, that also you have to note it down. So prepare your food and symptom journal accordingly. You can plan your diet plan. You have to avoid the certain food and you can eat certain foods to relieve the symptoms. Since 35 to 90% of people with chronic fatigue experience symptoms that are associated with the irritable bowel syndrome, it is important to pay a special attention to any stomach upset or distress. Don't cut it all. So once you feel the symptom, there is an anxiety about any kind of a food. If after eating this food I will have a symptom, I'm not going to feel the good. So don't do that. As I told you, keep a food journal, and don't try to cut every food. Okay, it is tempting to cut out everything you can in the face of nebulous, unrelenting disease like chronic fatigue. But there is no evidence that a highly restrictive diet improves the symptom. Uh, Talk to your doctor before eliminating any food from your diet to prevent overtaxing your body and cutting out important nutrients. Only attempt an elimination diet if your doctor and if you feel that that food will worsen my symptoms. Do an experiment with your diet. Some food may make you feel better or worse. It causes improvement after removing the gluten from food and high in carbohydrates from their diets, while others have seen no effect. Some people remove the gluten and high carbohydrate from their diets and they feel good. Okay, but some people don't see any effect. So it is best to work with your dietitian and tailor your food plan. Okay. You can get started on your own by paying attention to how particular food make you feel. With chronic fatigue, it is important to listen to your body and see how you feel. This is especially important if you think certain food might be aggravating your symptom, or if you are planning to make any change in your diet. Make small changes like adding more vegetable to your dinner each night. Stick it with a full month before deciding if the change improve your symptom or not. You will also be more likely to stick with healthier habits in the long run if you introduce them slowly. As I'm telling, for chronic fatigue syndrome as well as for chronic stress, limit your caffeine intake. Okay, a little bit of a caffeine may be fine for some people, but just be careful not to overexert yourself and make sure your intake doesn't impact your sleep. Try smaller, more frequent meal. Sometime in chronic fatigue syndrome, you don't feel like to eat. Okay, and you don't feel hungry. If in such cases, if you are losing a weight or struggling to eat enough throughout the day, so trick is that make a smaller portion of your food, and this small snack between the each meal you have to take, so that you stop feeling hungry, and eating more frequently may help keep your energy up, and smaller portion may be easier to tolerate as well. Pay attention to your sugar. Definitely, sugar can increase your energy temporarily, but the crash afterward can compound your tiredness. So instead of reaching a food with a refined sugar, it is suggested to eat naturally sweet food with a bit of a protein to help even out your food, your blood sugar and energy level. For example, take up berries with a plain unsweetened yogurt. It is a great option for the sweet thing. Then go all in on veggies. Fill up your stomach with a non-starchy veggies, so it will not going to cause any or worsening of the symptoms. Red vegetables, yellow veggies, some red vegetables are full of phytonutrient that act as an antioxidant and help in reduce the inflammation. Yellow veggies contains the important vitamins and minerals. So include this veggies in your diet. Skip heavily processed food. So though these heavily processed food are very tasty, but they are causing harm to your body. It is okay to eat sometimes, but do not take this food in routine. Okay, it is recommended to stick with the food that are close to Mother Nature and made it as possible. And then top it all off with a healthy fats. Healthy fats containing food like walnuts, avocado, which is containing omega-3 fatty acid, and it will improve your brain and heart health. So just make sure that your food contains these things. Meal plan and preparation when you can. You can plan your food throughout the week, okay, so that you have something to eat on every day. On the days that you have more energy, plan out what you will eat for the rest of the week and prepare your basic ingredient or cook the meal all the way through. Your meal will be ready to go. You won't have to worry about what you will eat in a given day. Even better, enlist someone to help so you can get more of the rest and you are not going to be bothered about your meal plan. So these are the techniques to deal with a CFS. But as I told you, there is no permanent cure for chronic fatigue syndrome. And so you have to cope up with this chronic fatigue syndrome by professional counseling, talking with a therapist to help, and develop a strategies to cope up with the illness and its impact on daily life and relationship. Take a balanced diet. A balanced diet is important for everyone's good health and would benefit a person with or without any chronic illness. Nutritional supplement is important. We have talked about a dietary hack. We have to take a maximum nutritional supplement so as to reduce the symptoms of a chronic fatigue syndrome. And complementary therapies like meditation, gentle massage, or some of the relaxation techniques we have to inculcate. So these are the techniques for coping up with a chronic fatigue syndrome. So hope you'll have liked this session. And thanks for listening patiently.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a really knowledgeable session. I request participants to please drop any questions if you have in chat box. Ma'am, there is one question from Swatika ma'am. How can we restore our sleep schedule in case of chronic fatigue syndrome? As we have learned that whatever amount of sleep or rest we take, we never get properly refreshed.
Yeah. Okay, I will answer this question. Usually, in case of chronic fatigue syndrome, so consult to your doctor, and he will prescribe some sleep medication to you, but try not to depend on this medication. So I have explained you the various techniques that can improve your sleep, like exercise, then don't get your electronic devices before you go to bed, or just do some medication techniques to avoid the symptoms. So these things you can inculcate to have good sleep.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question. How to identify stress eating?
Yeah, very simple thing. You are not hungry, still you are craving to eat the food. Okay, and that is the basic thing. We eat when we feel hungry, but you are eating mindlessly, and in that you are tending towards the processed food. That is an indication you are suffering from the stress.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can I have one more question? Okay. How can we
Sure.
differentiate between the joint pain of CFS and arthritis?
See, in arthritis, definitely there is a joint pain, but it is associated with a swelling. While in case of a chronic fatigue syndrome, there is a pain in a joint, but that is not associated with a swelling. And that is the biggest differentiating criteria in between these two.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, there is a question in chat box. From Swateja Bhosle, ma'am. Do anxiety pills relieve stress, and how oftenly should we depend on it?
Actually, what I will suggest, don't go for medication. Yoga, meditation is it will be helpful, but if you have to take the anti-anxiety pill, then consult your doctor first. Okay, self-medication should be avoided in such a cases.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one question from Suvarna, ma'am. Is it safe to take nutritional supplements on regular basis? Can we modify diet instead of it?
Yeah, you can do like that. For 1 month you can take a nutritional supplement, and then stop it for another month, continue your healthy diet, and again after 1-2 months you can again take a nutritional supplements.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I would like to summarize the session. Ma'am basically made us understand that depending on nature, duration, and impact, stress are of two types, acute and chronic. Causes of chronic stress, ma'am told us about 3 stages in stress response, that is alarm, adaptation, and exhaustion or recovery. Flight or fight response is given by our body in stress. Ma'am illuminated us on emotional and mental symptoms, effect on digestive system and circulatory problems. Ma'am spotlighted on diet as well, like vitamin C, magnesium, omega-3, vitamin B12 are plays essential role in avoiding stress. And how better sleeping habits will help to reduce stress. Ma'am told us about exercising some activities like running, dancing, swimming, cycling, etc. Or have a walk or putting some music on, which will help us to reduce or to avoid stress. Do what you love, meditate, connecting with people are also some exercises that will help us to relieve the stress. Ma'am given us some tips for building good relationship with people. Inculcate some hobbies which act as a stress buster. Laughter is the best medicine, so don't forget to laugh. Time management is also a very important factor to avoid stress, so don't overcommit yourself and prioritize your task. Ma'am, in detail, illuminated on chronic fatigue syndrome, that is CFS, its causes, risk factors, symptoms, diagnosis, and medications, some home remedies and lifestyle changes that should be done if we are facing stress. Ma'am detailed about diet hacks for chronic fatigue syndrome and technique to deal with the chronic fatigue syndrome. Thank you so much, ma'am. Lastly, I would like to repeat one quote which ma'am has already shared with us. It is not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it.